What's up, Vankers?
Hello, Vankers.
How's everybody doing?
How are you doing? Are you happy that you won the race? Are you happy that you won the race, George Russell? Shut up. No one cares. Kimi Antonelli got a podium. Haven't you heard?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that matters.
It really plays into our always the bridesmaid, never the bride for George Russell. It's like, oh, Kimmy, they love to infantilize.
Right.
Did we mention, Brundle's like, have we mentioned that he's a kid? He's a kid. He's a young kid.
Yeah, our producer, Brian, who is like, an F1 casual, goes, yeah, you mention it all the fucking time.
Yeah, we get it. He's young. He's a hot shot. He's new, in with the new, out with the old. Everybody's on to the new and the next thing. We live in an ageist society where George Russell, who's what, 25, 26, is old fucking news.
Yeah.
He wins this race. He is now the anointed king of Mercedes, and everyone's like, but Kimi.
But what about Kimi?
You
think that Hollywood is bad for women? What about Formula One for George Russell? How about that?
Yes.
I think the only person in sport who can identify with the unfair expectations of women in media is George Russell, dude. He's 26, and they're like, you're an old hag who doesn't have it, and we've got a new, fresher thing with curly hair, unlike your ugly, straight, wavy hair. Kimi Antonelli's all that we care about. Yeah. George Russell is the truth. George Russell is the truth. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what my impression was of this race today, and we're going to get into a lot of it. Obviously, this race was a snoozer. This is, of course, the Red Flags, brought to you by BetMGM. This race was a snoozer up until it wasn't, obviously, which we will get into. But what I felt today, we've got this championship battle going on between these two guys, between Oscar, between Lando. But today, what it felt like was like, these guys are really not the best drivers in the sport.
What do you mean?
Like, Daddy George, Daddy Max are like really top dogs. And like, Oscar had a messy weekend, a lot of the weekend.
Yeah. Didn't
qualify on pole in the best car. Then gets overtaken in the first, turn by Kimi Antonelli. Then Lando Norris, who messes up qualifying, actually has a good race. And then it's the time for the two of them to race each other. Lando crashes. Meanwhile, George Russell and Max Verstappen just feel like they're the two best drivers in Formula One right now. And they're just like not in the best car. So that's just what it is.
This is an interesting reframe from you, Brian.
What do you mean?
Well, I just think that you putting Lando and Oscar in this. They both had terrible weekends this weekend. I'm like, I think Lando probably had a worse weekend.
Of course, Lando had a worse weekend, but this wasn't an impressive. Like, I'm actually, I'm a Lando fan. I'm still rocking the fucking shirt. I'm actually not, that devastated by this result today. I think that it was messy. I think that we've talked about how, his years of letting people buy him and not really having that much time in the trenches of Formula One race battles, because the entire, first 4 or 5 years in F1, it was like, that's not my not my battle, not my problem.
Yes.
I'll just let you go. I think what we're seeing is a lack of racecraft from Lando Norris. He went for a gap that clearly wasn't there. George Russell said it in the fucking cool-down room. He was like, wasn't really a gap there, was there?
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, Lando had a crappy qualifying, and he screwed it up in Q3, which is something that we've seen. He had a better race today up until that one moment than Oscar.
I mean, that's what's that line? Other than the second act, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you like to play?
Yeah, of course. I'm just like, I don't know. Today I wasn't like, maybe this is a Lando cope, but I've been on the roller coaster with him for however long. The way that he handled himself after the race, where he was just kind of like, that was my fault. I went for something. I messed that up. I misjudged that. There wasn't like a ton of hand wringing. There wasn't like I'm the dumbest guy that's ever existed. I don't know how to drive a car. There's a little bit of like we'll move on to the next. What I'm maybe seeing a little bit is like, as long as the George Russells and the Max Verstappens are like still in this sport, I don't think it's like a foregone conclusion that, of course, Oscar Piastri is going to get 25 points every weekend. That's just like doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, well, we've seen that the McLaren is hard to drive, and in these cool conditions, yeah, there's too many variables where if George has a good car, he's gonna be a problem in qualifying, and Max is always gonna be a fucking problem.
Right.
I mean, what are the driver standings now?
The driver standings, Oscar's in first. Lando is 22 points behind him now.
Yeah.
So Oscar's got 198. Lando's got 176.
And where's Max?
Has 155.
Okay, so Max
George
still got
has
some time.
136.
Okay.
I still don't think that that's really in play. In terms, I still think it's going to be probably Oscar, but one of the McLaren boys who wins this championship. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm not like.
Why aren't you giving Oscar his flowies? There's no flowies for Oscar.
What? If I'm honest, what flowies does he deserve today?
Well, it's just to the Oscar Piastri fans who should be exultant that he held on to that, and now he's sort of pulling away in this championship. This is a great moment for the Oscar Piastri fans, and you're kind of like saying, well, they're both kind of shit and unworthy. Like that's kind of a little annoying. To paint them with the same brush. Like they're not.
I don't mean to fully paint them with the same brush, because Oscar Piastri has obviously better racecraft than Lando, and Oscar Piastri is cool under pressure in a way that Lando is clearly not. But up until that point, honestly, from a mentality standpoint, when Lando got right behind him, I'm like, damage limitation done.
Just leave it.
You fucked it in Q3, and now you're gonna finish right behind him.
Just leave it.
This points race will go from 10 points down to 12 points down. Yeah. Don't get greedy, but at the same time, Lando did have pace on Oscar. Lando was able to make positions, and then Oscar lost positions on the day. And then, but then this is what's classic Lando Norris. Then it comes time where it's now it's the time to nut up or shut up. And he shuts up and runs himself. He ran himself off track.
Well, he just crashed into the back of Oscar.
He went to a place where it was just grass and half a foot of road, and ran himself into the back of Oscar and ran himself off track.
Yes, but it's did he make up that many places, or did Hamilton hit a fucking
he hit a gopher?
Who was actually between them in the start? It was Leclerc. Leclerc was behind him, right?
Yeah, Fernando and Lewis, and then Oscar Oscar lost the place to Kimi.
Yeah, so Fernando had a terrible first stint.
Right.
Hamilton hit a groundhog.
Right.
So it's not like Lando made up all these places. It's those two guys, the two guys between them, and then Oscar lost a place. So this idea that Lando was on some epic tear.
No, I don't. I'm not saying he was on some epic tear, but he made up two places. Oscar lost one place, and then at the end of and then when they're both on hards around the same time, Lando has more pace in the hards.
Yeah, but like you said, I think you're right.
I just don't think it's that devastating. I understand that he fucked it, but this is also a little bit classic Lando when it comes to these moments. I'm not feeling like this is oh my. Everyone's gonna want to turn this into oh, he's so fucked. I actually don't. I'm just not feeling right now that he's actually that fucked.
Why are you not feeling that?
Because there's 14 races left, and honestly, Oscar didn't have a great weekend. So I don't see this as if Oscar had won this race and Lando had fucking crashed into someone else or whatever, I'd be more of course, you're totally fucked. But I just didn't see this as a wildly strong weekend from Oscar Piastri. I just saw this as Lando Norris shooting himself in the dick.
Right, but if this is the worst weekend he's going to have, then he's going to win.
Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got 14 races left. You never know what the fuck is going to happen. I just kind of...
He's only made... Honestly, Oscar's made one real mistake this whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Big mistake. He gave... His biggest mistake... Two mistakes. His biggest mistake was in Australia when he went off.
Right.
In those tough conditions. And then Max picked his pocket in that other... I forgot what race... Was it... What race was it? In...
Imola? No.
Yeah. So he picked his pocket in Imola.
Right.
So these are
and arguably, I would argue that today was a small. When Oscar makes mistakes, they're small.
They're small mistakes.
Oscar kind of stubs his toe. Lando breaks his femur. This is kind of
he when he lands, he might wobble a little bit and get a few deductions. Whereas Lando we'll do an 8 million. He did, he had a very good race.
Yes.
He did 8 million somersaults. Like, wow, he did the hard routine.
Yes.
And then he broke his fucking neck at the end.
Yes.
So like, he had a really great, it's like an ice skating where he does like but for the big finish.
Right.
So you got to put together the whole routine.
Right.
Now, maybe Oscar, maybe he doesn't have as fantastic routine, but he finishes the routine, whatever it is.
Right.
And that's sort of like, we're talking about like ceilings and floors now.
Yes.
Whereas like, okay, maybe Lando's ceiling is slightly higher than Oscar's, but his floor is like in Earth's core.
Right. But that is a little bit where I just feel there has been a bit of a shift. There's been all this focus on, how Lando's attitude, the way that Lando conducts himself, the way that Lando like frames his faults. And I guess I was encouraged by how he behaved at the end of this thing. It feels like growth to me, that like after a fuck up, he doesn't just immediately revert to, I'm the biggest piece of shit in the world, so like why would I even win the championship?
Is it growth, Brian? Can I push back a little bit? It's like when you're immolating yourself for like little mistakes.
Right.
When you're just when you're pouring gasoline on yourself and lighting yourself on fire for the smallest mistake. When you make a catastrophic mistake, it's like, where do you even have to go after that? He's already maxed out his levels of self-critic. Like at that,
But it's not about like, I don't think he needs to go into the deeper depths of hell.
Of course.
But you could see him doing that. You could see him just at least reverting back to, I don't know what I'm, we've seen him say it time and time again. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I shouldn't even be an F1 driver. I should just fucking go off and do something else. Like he's had that vibe. I was just like, a little bit encouraged by, we've talked a lot about like, you need goldfish brain in this game. You need to be able to just be like, I messed that up, like acknowledge it and move the fuck on. And I'm just seeing a little bit more of that from him in a way that feels encouraging to me when he has this was a massive fuck up. But I don't know, I'm just like not feeling, I've been on the roller coaster. You see me up, you see me down with regards to like Lando and his journey. I'm not feeling that down right now, and I want to say a PSA to all the Lando fans who might be feeling depressed. People on our Patreon are like, "Oh, like thoughts and prayers with Brian right now." I don't know. I'm not throwing out the baby with the bathwater because he made this mistake.
Well, but you've gotten used to the mistake, so that's the other thing, right? You're like, yeah, this is part of the Lando journey,
right?
This is not unexpected.
But this is what I'll say. What I saw from him before that was like also part of the Lando journey, which is that like on his day, he's fast as fuck. And he was like, he had a great race up until that point. So I'm not just throwing out that great race because he fucked this thing up at the end when we do have 14 more. There's a lot of season left.
Yes, that's true.
There's a lot of season left. And I didn't see such a strong performance from Oscar Piastri today that felt like, oh, well, Lando, if he's totally fucked, especially when I saw how strong and good the George Russells, the Max Verstappens, and even the Kimi Antonellis of the world were today.
Well, that's been they're the thing that's keeping them from actually fighting each other most of the time.
Yes.
Which is like they're always in between them. One always makes a mistake in qualifying, and then Max or George or Leclerc, whoever gets in between them. And I think maybe one of the reasons, if I'm Lando, one of the reasons I'm not as pissed, at least he kind of like went down swinging.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like he muffed a start or he made a mistake. He went for something that wasn't on.
Right.
He fought hard. He lost. And that's a saying in baseball. Just like go down swinging. He went down fucking swinging. He didn't go out looking. He tried. He failed.
Yeah, I'll take that.
One.
I'll take that.
Yes.
It doesn't feel as bad to me as some, because we've seen a lot of Lando Norris like striking out while not swinging.
Yes.
At least he swung today.
Yeah, he swung. Now, I think back to your point, I think probably once Oscar got into the DRS, I think it was kind of maybe over.
Yeah, it was tougher.
It was tougher for him
because
he had a real advantage. He had the 2-lap younger tires, and because Lando, I think, went a little longer on the was it the mediums? I think it doesn't. He had clear air, but once Oscar had the DRS of to Antonelli.
But that's when he made the the move. He did make the move. He got him on the fucking hairpin, and then that's when they were side by side. Afterwards in the cool down room, Kimi Antonelli, because they were Lando Lando, took him on the hairpin. Then they were side by side, and Kimi saw them in his rear view.
Right.
And Kimi said in the cool down room, he was like, so then I was asking, like, which one of them do I give the slipstream? Like, he was, because they were truly, it was side by side, thrilling fucking racing there.
Well, but that's, people talk about like, okay, he made the move, but how many laps? It took him a lot of laps to make the move. It's like, if he had made that move before and he got, Oscar had gotten closer, then Oscar's fucked.
Yeah. The opportune time was 2 laps earlier when Lando had DRS and Kimi didn't.
Yeah, yes. Oscar didn't. Yeah,
Oscar didn't. Yeah.
So I guess part of the thing is like, okay, Oscar's got DRS, maybe forget it at that point, or take them both the fuck out.
Yeah, right.
Like take them both out. Like Oscar had this great quote. He goes, "I know he didn't have bad intentions." Like, yeah, if he had bad intentions, he would have fucking taken you out too.
Right.
And Oscar. The good thing about Oscar is he's always monotone, so you can't tell. Like, even though he's acting, he goes, "I just feel so bad for the team." You don't feel bad. You're so fucking happy. Yeah. Oh my god, he was covered in splooge when he got out of that fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine just seeing your rival in your literal rear view or beside me, or just his whole wing is off. He's just fucking like, how happy are you? I mean, is that the happiest he's been in his? That must mean more than any race win to see your championship rival just crumple into dust.
Yeah,
like his whole car literally just shedding parts. It is such a for your rival. I mean, audience members. Listeners, just picture the person you hate the most. That person who's got the job over you, the person, the sibling that your parents like more. Just imagine them behind you in a car that's exploding. That's an amazing image.
Yeah.
I mean, who gets to experience that in a more visceral way than a Formula One driver? You get to see your opposition like perish in a car accident.
Yeah.
But be okay.
Right. Metaphorically.
Metaphorically and you get to see them be in a crash.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You get to see the guy, the person that you're up for a promotion against, like shit his pants at the office. Right in front of the boss.
Yes.
And you're like, yes. And but then what you have to say, and this is what Oscar said after, it's given or nor.
Now I was going through the comments.
Yes.
Obviously.
The post-race comments from the drivers, yeah.
No, from the
fans.
From the riff-raff.
What are people saying?
The Lando copers.
Yes.
Are saying
present.
No, you're not this bad.
Okay.
You're not this bad.
Let's hear what my constituents are saying.
They're saying that they should have let Lando through.
Oh yeah. No.
Oh, this is crazy. Like a real mismanagement by McLaren. Lando was clearly faster. Let him through. It's insane.
Well, yeah, because guess what? If I can speak to the other Lando crazies out there, they have the constructors signed, sealed, delivered, so they don't need to like maximize a position for either driver right now.
Yeah,
like they are still playing under one of our drivers is going to win the championship.
Yep,
and we'll probably finish 1-2. Now that is maybe up for debate, but I think it's a pretty safe to say we'll see how the season goes, and maybe if it actually becomes a situation where they need to prioritize a driver. But until they do, I'm all about this McLaren let the boys fucking race. They let the boys race today. McLaren stuck to their word. They let the boys race.
And they let Oscar through in Japan. They didn't let Oscar through in other instances where he was like behind him. And it's like, well, if you're faster, get past him.
Right.
If you're faster, get past him.
And they don't. No, I'm fully in support of them not doing that. I'm fully in support of them letting the boys race. In fact, we heard Lando's engineers be like, Oscar doesn't have DRS. Like, now's the time to get him. I mean,
get his ass.
Like his engineers were being like, get his ass.
Okay, I
was obsessed with that.
I want to bring this up. A lot of talking down to Lando.
This whole weekend.
We need an amazing race from you, Lando. Like, you're awesome. You're great. Remember your breaking points, Lando. We need to reset, take deep breaths. It's like, this is me in third grade when I'm having a tantrum. And it's like, Matt, deep breaths.
Yeah.
deep breaths. It's okay. And I'm like, whoa, I've never heard something like this before over the radio. Like, remember your training.
Yeah.
Remember your training.
Remember the breaking points was wild.
Yeah.
I think it goes to that fact that, like, when Lando's gets his blood pressure up, he just starts like doing weird shit. They're just like, why are you breaking there? That is crazy. But it also speaks to a little bit that, like, Lando needs that positive affirmation in a similar way to Lewis. We were talking recently about how Ricardo Adami's kind of just giving Lewis the nuts and bolts, and Nico Rosberg's like, you need to give him more.
You got to lie to him. Tell him he's amazing.
You got to tell him he's amazing.
Yeah.
You got to tell him, no, Lewis, you didn't kill that gopher. You love animals. Why would? Of course you wouldn't do that.
No, that gopher's fine. It's at a farm. It's in a farm upstate, Lewis.
The gopher's fine. Right? The gopher's fine. We got it. We got the gopher. Some fresh pair of Pumas. We're chilling.
Yes. No, it's interesting. Yeah, we were talking about how Lewis is like that partner that's like, do I look fat in this dress?
Yeah.
Or, do I look fat in this outfit? And you're like, well, have you gotten on a scale recently? That's Ferrari. What he needs to hear is like, you don't look fat. You look amazing.
Right.
You look amazing. And I think Lando needs to hear that he looks amazing.
I think I think he does need to hear that. I think all that. I'm in full support of the fact that McLaren are sticking to their word and they're letting these boys race, because this whole season we've been like, this is the actual battle that's happening here. Max Verstappen and George Russell keep kind of throwing their hats into the ring and getting in the way of the two of them actually clashing. This is the first time that they clashed.
Yes.
And I hope it's the beginning of more to come, because this race was a snoozer up until that point.
Yeah. I mean, and they were saying oh, wait till these strategies converge. Wait till these, like, everyone always says, like, all these people that love these boring fucking races are like, oh, the safety car ruined it. The safety car ruined it. The safety car ruined it. Like, we got to see these different strategies converge on one another, and whether the undercut worked, and whether Leclerc, who went 2 laps longer on the hards, if that's going to pay off, and we get to, and it never fucking works.
Right.
It never is exciting. Like, the only thing that was exciting is that Lando caught up to Oscar.
Right.
That's the only thing. There was no strategy convergence. It was that Lando was probably a little nicer to his tires. I think,
they were on different strategies, so there was a little bit of strategy convergence. Lando started on the hards, Oscar on the mediums.
That's true.
So they had the differing strategies. Then Oscar was trying to get past Kimi, was unable to get past Kimi, and in that squabble and through the back markers, Lando was able to catch up with him. So there was a little bit of that, but it was a little bit like the universe forced them together. Like, they didn't make it happen themselves. They were just kind of like, this is what's gonna. The universe said,
it's like Monza 2021, where it's like, you don't think they're gonna find each other, and they fucking find each other, and it's epic. It was that was thrilling, though.
Vankas, this episode is brought to you by BetMGM. Come see what's new at BetMGM. Score bigger when you win with boost tokens, odd boost tokens, and more. Even if your bet doesn't hit, we've got you covered with no sweat tokens. Sign up with BetMGM today, and you'll have access to countless betting options, including new look, same-game parlays, teasers, live bets, and so much more. Take advantage of these offerings, and be sure to use the bonus code DADDY when signing up to receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. This is an exciting season. Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, who's going to finish? Who's going to win each race? Where's Yuki Tsunoda going to wind up? You can bet on all this with BetMGM, so do it today. Use the bonus code DADDY when signing up, and again, receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. See you out there, Vegas.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
That was fully thrilling.
They were like trading places, and it was really close, and it was really thrilling. And
thank God that happened.
Thank God that happened.
Because we were promised, the race we were promised was George Russell and Max Verstappen going full steam ahead into each other.
Oh, that was such a letdown.
That sucked.
Yeah, we were like, oh my God, something's going to happen. Like, because obviously Max is going to have an equally good start, and they're going to go in neck and neck, and either Max is going to clatter him off the track, and it's going to be carnage, and they're going to be talking about that for the whole race, Or maybe Max is going to learn and, lift and be passive. But we didn't get that because George just fucking got away clean, and then Max was worried about the people behind him.
Yeah.
And I think that was another reason. I mean, I think it was Brundle was talking about this, that Oscar was like, am I really going to battle Kimi for this, or am I just going to like let him have this place?
Right, sure.
And live to fight another day. And I think that's sort of part of the calculation that I think Oscar has that maybe Max doesn't always have, which is like,
right.
That's a little bit Prost, right? Okay, okay, Lando's back there. I just need to finish ahead of him.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I got to say, I mean, if Lando had gone for it, like just make sure you go for it in a place where if you doesn't hit, you both get taken out.
Well, Lando, we were talking earlier about how like Oscar was like, I was really gutted for the team.
Yeah.
Lando after the race was like, I was just happy to see that he didn't get, taken out as well.
Right. I'm like, what are you talking about?
What are we talking about here?
God damn it. Guys, Rosberg, Hamilton, you got to make sure you take him with you.
Yeah.
Make sure you take him with you.
But we're not quite there. When you think about, and this is what I hope can maybe be the beginning of like some real back and forth between these guys, because going back to what we just said, like what we were promised with George and Max was kind of like the heavyweight battle where like in the lead up to the thing, it's that Conor McGregor, like, I'm going to knock his fucking socks off, mate. And then they like get in there and they just go the distance and no one gets even knocked to the ground. That's what we got there.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping we can maybe start to get a little bit with the Lando Oscar thing is like, let this be the first of a like building, growing tension and resentment between the two of them, that we can actually get some fireworks by the end of the season. Because when you think about Rosberg Hamilton, that happened in 2016.
Yeah.
Hamilton got to the team 2013.
Yeah.
Right? 2013?
2013. Yeah, I think.
Wins 2014, wins 2015?
Yeah. Something like that, yeah.
So Hamilton gets there 2013, wins 2014, wins 2015. The hat moment in Coda happens 2015. So that by that point, by 2016, when it's on, is fucking on.
Yeah, but do you think I think maybe Lando's problem is, one of Lando's problems is maybe he's acting, but do you think he's been orange pilled a little too much? Do you think he's been drinking the McLaren Kool-Aid a little too much? Thinking about McLaren, the team, he's been the company man.
Yes.
Zach Brown brought him in, nurtured him. He still thinks in terms of papaya,
right?
When he needs to think in terms of quadrant, yellow, me, me, me. Where Oscar just dropped. Oscar doesn't give a fuck. Alpine brought him up from through the ranks at millions of dollars, and then he was like, slit, slit their throats. Otmar is dead now,
right?
And he's off to McLaren, and he will slit what it like. These are just
right.
McLaren for Oscar is just a means to an end. He does not care about.
Yeah, he'll say the company line.
Yes.
I mean, they keep them. They keep those boys under a tight fucking.
Yes.
They run a fucking tight organization. I mean, they say the company line. They say what they're supposed to say. When you think about it, even in terms of that, and we'll get onto the rest of this race. We'll get onto George and Kimi after this. But like, when you think about, it's not necessarily Oscar. It's Mark Webber. Who are the people in Oscar's ears actually like kind of like making these decisions and guiding him through this career?
Yes.
It's Mark Webber. Who is that person for Lando Norris? It's Zach Brown.
Yeah.
So like,
there's a conflict of interest there.
I mean, Zach Brown has been his guy from day dot.
Yeah.
And as much as his dad, as much as the family's there, Adam Norris is there, like they don't know this game like Zach Brown. Zach Brown has ushered him and led him through this entire career, and that's always associated with McLaren. And also, I mean, I understand it to a degree from Lando's point of view. He came in, there was a lot of talk about, should he go to Red Bull? Should he go to Mercedes? Should he leave? Should he leave? Should he leave? And Zach Brown says, trust me, stay. And now he stayed, and he's been given this car. Now on the other side of that, he's also fucking hired this fucking absolute Australian Iceman killer. But that's just, I mean, Lando was not... he wasn't thrilled that Oscar wasn't taken out as well. It would have been tough in terms of a team dynamic. That would have made things socially difficult and awkward for him. He was, I guess, smart in some way of being like, it was me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Andrea Stella after the race was like, had he not said that, this might have been a problem if he had been blaming Oscar, said, he brake checked me, whatever. He didn't do that. So seemingly they can go into Austria like.
But I think you brought up a great point.
Yes.
Which is.
Thank you.
That Zach Brown, for the first time in this episode, that I've agreed with you. No, I'm kidding. But Zach Brown has two priorities, right? He's kind of split. Zach Brown he's like, Lando's my guy.
Right.
But McLaren's my team.
Yes.
And I think, when push comes to shove, like Lando's going to get the short end of that stick. If it's going to be McLaren first.
Right.
Whereas Mark Webber has one fucking priority.
Right.
He doesn't care. He will burn McLaren to the ground if it means getting his client, his one responsibility, to
the top of the mountain.
To the top. Mark Webber is like taking a step back from his punditry because this is his sole focus now is fucking Oscar.
Right.
Is getting this kid to the promised land.
Right.
And everything else just doesn't matter.
Yeah, Mark Webber's like, I don't need to do fucking Sky TV, Sky Australia. I have Oscar Piastri as my client. Right. That is my sole focus.
That's all I'm going to focus. Whereas Zach has got McLaren shareholders, whatever.
He's got McLaren IndyCar. He's got a
million.
He's got a whole fucking organization to deal with, and included in that is Lando Norris. Yes. But at the end of the day, Daddy's got to go to work. And, I know I'm part of that work, but I'm not the whole thing.
Yeah, Lando's just one stock in his portfolio, whereas
yes.
Whereas for Webber, Oscar is the entire enchilada.
Right.
And I think that is and I've got to say that Nico sort of poured a little salt in that wound.
Yes.
I think
let's say what happened. Nico Rosberg after the race today said that he had reached out to Lando Norris offering him to mentor him, and he got left on red.
Am I crazy or did I predict? Did I say that?
Yeah, we said that he should do that. We said that Nico Rosberg is the guy.
Yeah, yes,
he is truly the guy who could mentor Lando in this position. Like the person who did this last, who got it done, was Nico Rosberg.
Yes, I think he needs a fucking killer in his camp. He needs a guy who is a great racer, still probably has some meat left on the bone in terms of like what he thought he might have been able to accomplish.
Right.
And he's going to put all of his vicarious shit into you.
Right. Also, there's an interesting dynamic because we talked to Jacques Villeneuve this week. We're going to have an episode coming out with him that was amazing. And one of the things that he was talking about is kind of like some of these drivers who they don't need to race.
Yes.
They want to race, they want to accomplish, but they don't. It's not like they live and breathe it. If they're not doing it, then what the fuck else are they going to do with their lives? I think that Lando is one of those guys. I think that he's even talked about like, I got these other things going on in my life. I've got Quadrant. I've got is this really the path for me forever? Do I want to do this until I'm 40? I think that Lando is maybe like, I want to get what I can get done, and then maybe do something else, which is also what Nico Rosberg thought. He said, I don't think I can do this forever.
Yeah.
Let me get to the top of the mountain and then fucking drop the mic and then walk away.
Yeah. And some guy, and then what else Jacques was saying, not to burn our entire interview, but some guys get sick of it, they leave, and then they're like, fuck, wait a minute.
Right.
I missed this. So like when you're in it, you hate it. Or you're obviously hyper focused on all the annoying things. And then when you're gone, you look back at it fondly. I mean, there are times where I look back at my youth fondly.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, those were good times. And I remember, but you're like, you kind of like forget all the, you live with your parents, you don't get along with them, you have homework, right? It's a bit of that.
Yeah, it's rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
But let's move on from Lando. Let's move on from Oscar. Let's talk George Russell. Let's talk Kimi Antonelli. Because I am annoyed that the whole focus of this podium and the whole focus of this race is Kimi Antonelli and not the fact that George Russell, just won another fucking race.
Yeah.
It's like, I get that he's young. I get that he's people think he's the second coming, and I get that he's got a lot of, hype. But George won the race.
Yeah. We fetishize potential. Oh, yeah, one day Antonelli will win races. I'm like, George is winning them right now.
George is arguably the second best driver on the grid.
Yeah.
He is up there. I genuinely think he is like the closest thing to Max Verstappen that we have on this grid right now.
It's hard to say.
It's
hard to say because, well, he's been very fucking consistent. He's always P2, P3. He's always putting that car where you think it around where it should be. He hasn't made any mistakes this year, I don't think.
Not many. He pulled that pole out of his fucking ass.
Yeah.
Mercedes wasn't even expecting it. George was like, well, fucking, why don't you expect it? Why don't you expect it from me?
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Can you fucking hold me to some type of high standard? And I think that, like, for sure, impressive drive from Kimi. Kimi got that podium today. Seemed like that Mercedes car was getting along with that track.
Yes.
It was hot, but not, it wasn't fucking Middle East hot.
Yes.
It was hot. It wasn't Texas hot.
Right.
Or Mexico City hot. It was 77, temperate. Nice.
A lot of straights, good for their engine.
It was a race that was built around or maybe around that Mercedes car. But like George put the whole thing together, and he had Max Verstappen, given what just happened, breathing down his neck, and he didn't falter.
Yep.
Max was pushing him in that first stint. George didn't falter.
Yep.
He had a fucking like perfect race today. And all anyone cares about is Kimi Antonelli.
I think part of the problem for George is he didn't dispatch Lewis really quick.
Right.
And I think there was a bit of ick there.
Right, but he did beat him one of those years.
Yeah, and he outqualified him a lot.
And now he's like stepping into leading this team.
Yes.
He's a young dude. He is like
it's like he is the prize, maybe.
He is the prize.
Why are you searching far and wide for the next Max when you kind of maybe have one?
Yes. Already? And maybe Kimi's ceiling is way higher than George's, but I don't know. I just feel like if Kimi Antonelli turns into George Russell, you should be well happy with that.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that like George Russell should be enough. Vankas, when I started this podcast, I thought I was going to have to do it all on my own. Now, luckily, I had Matt and Jenny, but we needed a little bit more help, and that's where Shopify came into play. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the United States, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. Not like us anymore because we're established. We love Shopify here at the Red Flags, our merch store, which sells our perfect merch, including this perfect t-shirt we should buy right now at theredflagspod.com. Guess what? That website and that store is run through Shopify, and you can turn your business idea into cha-ching with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/redflags. Go to shopify.com/redflags. Once again, shopify.com/redflags and get started today.
Right. I mean, but this is the thing, right? And then you end up burning an asset, right? Because like because you have Lando Norris, you're super happy with Lando Norris, and then you bring in this other guy.
Right.
And then now Lando is fucking a shell of himself, right?
Right.
So like best case scenario, you're going to be in this situation in 2 years.
Yeah.
And then one of them is just going to but I guess maybe that's what they want. They want this. It's like you put two fighting fish in a bowl.
Yeah.
And then you get this is what they want.
Yeah. Maybe it is. I mean, George Russell, he's 27. So he should be like this
in his prime.
In his prime.
Yeah.
Kimi's 18. There's something to be said for that. I mean, we'll see where he is. There's talk around where like a guy, Alcaraz and Sinner, right?
Yeah.
Or the top of the tennis world. They're 22 and 23. They're like, and everyone's talking about like they're not even in their prime yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see where the fuck they are once they're in their prime.
Yeah.
And maybe Kimi like is exponentially better than he is right now, or maybe he's exponentially better than George, but I don't know. I just don't really see that being the case. It just bothers me that this race is like
the Kimi podium.
The focus was Kimi's podium. And that's what I will say about Kimi that is impressive, that I think that we need to like reframe around this thing, is that the two tracks where he's done the best, the two tracks where Kimi Antonelli has performed best this year, tracks he had never raced at before. Miami and now Canada.
What do you attribute that to?
I don't know, but there was just all this talk like, wait till he gets to the fucking ones where he's been before, dude. Just like, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know what... to make of that. Really, I think that they were. Yeah, I don't know.
And people are saying, like, and he's still in school and he's got finals and he's got to study for finals. Like, isn't that cool? And I'm thinking to myself, no, it's not cool at all.
All right.
Like like let him either quit school, in my opinion, or let him finish school.
Right.
Am I crazy? Is that a bad take? It's like, this is his job now.
Right.
Like, he shouldn't be like, if you're like, but he's got to finish school. If you think he's got to finish school, then he should be in school.
He's got finals.
If like, oh, so you don't think he should get an education? If you think getting an education is so important, then maybe delay. Like, what? I can't make the briefing. I can't make the fucking track walk. I have fucking finals. Are you crazy?
It's cute.
It's not cute. It's annoying. It's annoying. Did you know that he still has a baby tooth? Like, did you know that? Isn't that cool? I'm like, maybe he's too young.
What's Toto Wolff gonna give him as the tooth fairy?
Oh, and then Toto Wolff on the fucking horn. He's like, "Grande Kimi, you're a big boy." I'm like, what the fuck is this?
You are no longer little Kimi. You are now grande Kimi.
And it's like, you don't talk. He's a kid. It's like, once you enter the man's league,
right?
We treat you like a man.
And guess what? He is a man.
Yeah.
The kid's. He's a fucking. He's playing with these guys.
Yes.
He's holding his own. This is not. As much as it might sound like Kimi Antonelli
hate, it's just a conversation.
It's not Kimi Antonelli hate. As much as it might sound like Kimi Antonelli hate, it's not Kimi Antonelli hate. He's a good fucking driver.
Yeah, he's good.
It's just irritating to me that, like, we are throwing out the baby, not Kimi Antonelli. Yeah. George Russell is the baby in this.
George Russell's the
for once. George Russell is baby girl. George Russell is the baby, and we're throwing him out with Kimi Antonelli's and Sydney Sweeney's bathwater.
Well, and this is something else Jacques Villeneuve was talking about. We'll fucking burn on his whole interview, but whatever. Yeah. I mean, by the time it comes out, whatever. But, as a driver, you feel that energy.
Yes.
Toto, being all up on Kimi.
Good job, George. Kimi, you're amazing. I love you. You're grande, Kimi. Yes. Give me a smile, Kimi. Good job, George.
That hurt. That has a deleterious, whatever the fuck you say it.
Yeah.
It has that negative effect.
Yes.
On a driver when your team principal is like hugging and just loving on the other driver. It's going to affect you.
George called him sir after the race. Like, thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm like, of course you call him sir.
Yeah. And it's tough. I
think that George is more, because we were comparing him a little bit to Lando. I think that George is made of maybe, it's a little pricklier or less like, soft around the edges than Lando. I think that, like, George has been kind of second fiddle the whole time and has continued to be really strong.
Yes.
So I think that, like, it's not necessarily a foregone conclusion that as Toto continues to, like, kind of like favor Kimi, that, like, it's totally going to fuck with George. But after enough time, he'll be like, resentment
builds.
What are we doing here?
He was getting resentment. He was getting resentful at Williams. Then he gets to Mercedes and he's got to deal with fucking Lewis and all that bullshit of, being in the shadow of, like, F1 Messiah.
Right.
And then finally gets the team that he thought was going to be his. And then the Messiah has been reborn in the form of Kimi. It's like he had to deal with Jesus and then now baby Jesus.
Yes.
He's fucking sandwiched between two F1 Jesuses.
Yeah, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And then right in the middle is George Russell.
It's bullshit. It sucks. And he's always, I've said it before, he's always the bridesmaid. And when's he going to be the bride?
And who's going to treat him like the bride that he is?
Christian Horner when he leaves.
Yeah.
When Max Verstappen leaves, I think Christian Horner, they would be such a fucking evil Bond villain duo.
Yes.
That I would love that.
They're a match made in heaven.
They're a match made in heaven. They're both fucking.
They're so. And can you like them on Christian's property shooting skeet?
It's in the fucking barber jackets,
riding horses.
Shit writes it. I mean, Drive to Survive would have a fucking field day. He does not fit in the Adidas. He fits in barber and khakis. He fits on Christian Horner's estate, and Christian Horner would go to bat for him.
Yeah,
and go to the mat for him because, like, look what Christian does for Max.
Yeah,
who doesn't even want him there.
Right.
Right. Like he will.
Yeah.
So what else we got?
Let's talk about Ferrari.
Yeah.
I mean, we should talk about Fred, because there's been a lot of hubbub around Ferrari.
Yes.
Beyond the race, Charles Leclerc had the bad qualifying. They were kind of nowhere. Lewis had the Groundhog. Charles fighting with his engineers. Whatever. Let's put that aside for a second. Let's talk about Let's talk about Ferrari. All the sharks swimming around. They basically that in 2 Italian media fucking places, newspapers, whatever, have been talking about how Fred is going to be fired soon. There's a lot of talk about who would take his place. Fred had a very spicy press conference where he said, you know, if what the Italian media wants is to like tear Ferrari down and all we're talking about is this news story, then guess what? Like they've a mission accomplished.
Right.
And he also said, you know, they fire this person, they fire this person, they fire, like there's Ferrari's loves a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
And Fred feels like he is the next scapegoat for Ferrari.
Yeah.
And I think it is bullshit. I think it's stupid. I think that the issues with Ferrari go a lot higher than Fred Vasseur. I think they go a lot deeper and they're a lot more historic than this guy who's been with the team for a few years. They are baked into the cake, and until they start addressing that, they will just continue to just like, I don't know.
I mean, if
shove one guy out and bring some other guy in to be on the cross for them.
Yeah, no. If current Ferrari management went in a time machine back to the 90s, they would have fired Jean Todt like 2 or 3 years in.
Yes,
they would have fired Ross Brawn. They would have just gotten rid of these guys because they didn't win like fucking immediately.
Right,
because they're the fucking kid that eats the marshmallow.
Yes,
they eat the fuck. There's 9 marshmallows. If you could just wait a couple of years, but they just can't live through the growing pain. And it's like you picked your horse, stick with the horse.
Especially you're about to go into a new reg set. Yeah. Like you're about to fire the top guy. It just the issues there go so much deeper than Fred Vasseur, and
they don't empower him. They don't really empower
until you can give your team principal, until you can hand over the keys.
Yeah.
And this is why Adrian Newey didn't want to go over there. Adrian Newey said, I'll go to Aston Martin where I can have like autonomy.
He'd rather go to Aston Martin with Lance Stroll than Ferrari.
Yes.
How fucked up does your organization have to be for Newey to rather go to Aston Martin? Which is a joke. That team is a joke.
Yeah.
Like, Lance got a 10-second penalty today, didn't he? I mean,
it
was like he fought because you know what? The reason he fought through that wrist injury is because God forbid they put somebody else in that car.
Right.
And he's like right there with Alonso.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. So they're just like I mean, we saw him in the paddock. He was walking like he was doing the robot because his fucking wrists were so stiff.
Right.
And he just didn't look.
Yeah, he crashed during practice.
Yeah.
You know.
No, and Newey was like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Over Ferrari. That's crazy.
Because they don't want to like let the people who know what they're doing do their jobs. They want there to be as many cooks in that kitchen as possible. And for that to be the case.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they don't want to listen to their driver either. I mean, Charles Leclerc today was pissed off about
I think he got it ended up working out, right? I mean, maybe he thought he could get more places, like maybe he could get a podium. But I mean, if you look, I mean, he was on the same strategy as everybody else, and
I mean, there was a few. Yeah, it seemed to be okay, but I mean, there were a few guys on the one stop, and it seemed to work fine. And he was just like, these tires feel good, but because the tires were not doing well on other teams, they said, no, we bring you in. I don't know. There's also reports that Charles Leclerc's really unhappy there, that he's maybe looking for an out.
Yeah, I mean, Hadjar was on the one. I mean, some one stops did great, like let's see.
Sainz and Ocon were on the one stop.
Sainz and Ocon were on the one stop.
Those are the ones that really work.
And Hulkenberg
were
on the one stop. Right, but then you have on the flip side you have Hadjar. I don't know what happened with him, but he did a one stop and he finished.
Yuki did a one stop. Yeah, a few people did the one stop. It didn't work out. But what Charles was saying was like these tires felt good.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a one stop, you're doing a two stop, you kind of got to listen to the driver at a certain point. There's like hey, like, can you do 15 more laps on these tires? And if they say yes, then you do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that ultimately that was what needed to happen, but that back and forth, along with the reports that maybe Charles is really unhappy, maybe Charles is looking like, is this the place that I'm going to be able to win a championship? Something that we said that he needed to leave in order to do.
Yeah.
And then they're bickering on the radio again today. He says, "Why are we going on these tires? Why wouldn't we go on the mediums?" Like they box themselves into that two stop by putting them on hard.
Right. They didn't give him the flexibility.
They didn't give him that flexibility. It's just it's bad. It's not good. And they both came out and they defended Vasseur, but there's
the sharks swimming.
The sharks are swimming,
yep.
And it's not looking good over there. Now they're now probably in third in the constructors. They have not won a race. Now all of the top 4 teams except for them have won a race.
They won a sprint race.
They did win a sprint race.
Sir Lewis Hamilton won
so fucking true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bad situation over there. And Lewis killed a gopher today. So there's that as well.
The worst possible guy to kill a gopher. The only vegetarian or vegan on the whole grid. You know what it was giving? It was giving, you remember Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder? He had like a Save the Pandas campaign.
Yeah.
And then he realizes that he fucking by accident murdered a panda.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then he calls Matthew McConaughey. He goes, "I killed something I love." And he goes, "Oh God, you killed a hooker."
Yeah.
You killed a hooker. He goes, "No, I killed a panda." And Matthew McConaughey's like, "Oh, thank God." Thank God. Yeah, he's like, you gotta get some Clorox, some bleach, some lime, shovel. He's like, "No, what?"
Yeah, he said afterwards he was devastated. He did say it with like a little bit. He was like, "Oh yeah, man, that was tough." He said it with a little bit of a laugh, but yeah, that was.
I mean, did he have to go? Why do you have to go on the racing line? You know,
right?
I wanted that. There's a great moment in James Bond where he's chasing the bad guy, and the bad guy puts Bond's girlfriend right in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And then Bond just goes, and he just like flips. Like, I mean, what if Lewis just fucking, just like, no! And he just like absolutely just gets into a devastating accident. And then the Groundhog's just sitting there like fucking chewing or something.
Yeah.
Like,
and then Max Verstappen right after him kills it.
Just fucking flattens him.
Just like, yeah, how much do you really love animals, Lewis?
A real animal lover would have fucking just done a fucking full
crazy.
spin.
How do they?
Everyone talks about how cute it is.
There's not a way we can get these beavers out the fucking track.
And I'm always thinking, like, there was a great shot of it. I'm like, where are you going? It's so important that you need to risk your fucking life. And people are always talking about, the groundhogs are so cute. The groundhogs are so cute. I'm like, they have bear repellent, right? They have things you can put to repel things. Why don't they put groundhog repellent?
Like, there's really no way to get these, because it's not only a danger to the groundhog, it's a danger to like the driver. It's a danger to everyone.
No, but it's part of the track's character.
It's part of the character.
It's part of the character.
And we had a great time. Honestly, we were here in Montreal. We had a great time. The vibes of the Montreal track are actually pretty great.
It's like one of my favorite tracks now.
It's vibing of it. It has that
Austin
coda
energy.
Has that coda feel.
Yeah.
We were in the Pirelli hospitality in the paddock.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to Pirelli. Our boy Mario was the guy handing out the trophies today. We said, "Hey, Mario's a friend."
Yeah.
No, we had an amazing time. They gave me this amazing hat,
which is bullshit.
Which should have been worn by Lando Norris today, but wasn't.
Yeah.
And no, just Pirelli's
only you the hat. They only gave you the hat because I had already had this old hat.
We could tell the story. Yeah.
I already had this old hat, and I was like, we're going to the Pirelli motorhome. They've been so nice to us. They've been such great hosts.
The biggest problem with Pirelli this year is that the tires are too good.
Yeah.
The tires are too good.
Yes.
So they're having to be like, all right, we'll make our tires worse for you guys.
Yeah.
They're an amazing organization.
Yeah, they're an amazing organization, except they clearly have a shortage of hats because I come in with my Pirelli hat, and they're like, "Well, you already have a hat. Here's this brand new, spanking, immaculate hat
It's fucking
with the snaps.
so sick.
With the snaps. I have a Velcro one. That you know what? I'm very grateful. I'm coming across like a dick. But you know what? I'm feeling like George Russell, and he's like Kimi Antonelli right
Call
now.
me Kim. Well, because they know I'm a true Italian.
See,
Davide gave me this hat, and he said, "You are the chosen one."
yes. See. That's how I like. That's how I know I wouldn't make it as an F1 driver, because like just one of those, and I'm fucking spiraling.
Bankers, this episode is brought to you by Long Drink. Long Drink is a refreshing citrus soda with a premium liquor kick. Unlike the seltzers made with fermented sugar, it is a true award-winning liquor that is smooth, refreshing, and doesn't leave you with that full beer feeling the last sip. It's as good as the first. Long Drink is a citrus soda made with real liquor. It's not like these other, you know what I'm talking about. Everyone's drinking them, but then you still get that full beer feeling, not with Long Drink. Long Drink, it's gluten-free, all natural, super refreshing. And get this, Miles Teller, Kygo, and Ricky Fowler are investors. Miles Teller, you mean Rooster? Rooster! You gotta drink it. I've literally been having Long Drink nonstop. It's become my new favorite drink, especially on a nice summer day. We're entering summer, and you need your Long Drink. So you can pick up some Long Drink today at a store near you. Happy drinking, bankers. Let's go into our awards. Hottest moment of the day.
Obviously, the little interchanges we had between Oscar and Lando.
And Lando, yeah. That whole last little Lando overtaken on the hairpin, that like whole back and forth. And then guess what? This was a race where my dick was just limp the whole time. And then when they crashed, even though I'm a Lando guy, I came.
Yeah. It delivered. At least it delivered. I mean, it hurts the championship a little bit, but it was a good race.
We'll see. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't.
Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe.
Yeah. Daddy of the day.
I mean, Kimi's dad was showing out today. They were getting lots of shots of Kimi's dad.
Yeah.
I mean, not that he needs more praise, but it's Father's Day, and Kimi's dad, and
right.
Yeah, so I'd give it to Kimi's dad.
And we saw on Kimi's documentary that his dad is like, has the, I'm hard on you, but I'm also like, he's got a little bit, it seems like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Like he pushed his son really hard, but is also able to be very affectionate and loving towards him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give it to Kimi's dad. I'll also give it to, you know what? I'm going to give it to the dad that no one appreciates. Stepdad, George Russell. George Russell's given stepdad, who like the kid still runs to the real dad even though he's out smoking a cigarette and never comes around. George Russell is fucking,
he's the dad who stepped up.
He's the dad who stepped up.
Yeah.
That's George Russell.
Yeah.
And he's taking that team and putting it on his fucking back. Karen of the day.
I mean, George and Max.
George and Max.
Fucking just
well, apparently, this is news. Red Bull is protesting George Russell's
so
win.
maybe more Max then.
So maybe a little bit more Max. Yeah, it seemed like, I don't know. It seemed like Max.
Two neighbors calling in noise complaints on each other. It's just fucking it's so tedious and amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like Max was like kind of trying to fuck with George a little bit behind the safety car, and then George was like, "Oh, you're fucking with me? All right, cool. Like, I'll fucking like," and then you overtake, and they're like, "I'll break a little bit more here," and then and then Max goes, "Ugh."
It was all good vibes when they were out of the car, so
it was very interesting to see them interact. There was a lot of kind of, make sure I'll shake your hand and. We're both being careful and acknowledging.
But Max is the one leading the charge on being the bigger man. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
And when he got a pole and when he won, Max was like, "I'm gonna go over to you and show that I'm such a big guy and you're such a fucking little bitch." Like he's even competitive with being magnanimous.
I will be P1 of magnanimity.
Everyone's gonna talk about how fucking magnanimous I am.
Yeah, I do wonder if Max. Do you think that there was a bit of, I don't want to get a penalty point today?
Well, it wasn't really tested.
Yeah.
Like the only way it would have been tested is if George had a bad start, Max had a
start.
good start, and they went into that corner. Then you can really test it. I mean,
Yeah.
when would he have gotten a penalty point today?
I mean, he was pushing George in that first stint. He didn't really try any kind of like crazy lunges.
But George had him covered. I don't think he's going to go out of his way to.
Right.
I think in the moment, if it's like for the race win, I think he might risk it. But he's not going to do a 10% lunge,
right?
Low percentage lunge if he doesn't think it's on,
right?
I think, given where he's at.
Radio of the day. Alonso, we need you to go in easier on 10 and 3. I'm not testing. I'm racing.
God, it sucks to be an engineer where you just know you're gonna get you have the information, the whole entire lab is above you, being like, tell him about turns 10 and 3. Turns 10 and 3, and you're like,
he's not gonna like
setting
that,
me up for failure. It sucks, and then you gotta get that, and you gotta just get fucking owned.
Yeah,
every time you're just being. Yeah, it's a miserable job. What a miserable job.
There was that little back and forth when this was just I don't know if it was a great radio, but given what happened later, it was amazing when they asked Lando with 9 laps to go. They're like, if there was a safety car, would you like to put on a fresh pair of softs? And then Lando just goes, yep. And then later there is a safety car that he caused, and everyone else dives into the pits and puts on those very softs that were being discussed.
Yeah,
that was there was something about that where it was yeah, why'd you even say it? You jinxed yourself with that one.
Yeah,
that's bad juju.
Yeah,
to talk about a safety car and then
bitch, you're the fucking.
And then 4 laps later, you're the safety car.
Yeah, one of these idiots is gonna crash. We just know it.
We're sure of it.
Yeah, and then it's you. It's you.
And red flag of the day.
Did we kind of cover it
with what? With Lando?
With
the Kimi, the
Kimi glazing.
George being overlooked.
Kimi glazing. It's like, oh my god, he's so incredible. I'm like, he's losing to his teammate.
Yeah,
but he's good. I mean, he's good. I mean, it's just let's settle down here.
Yeah, let's calm it the fuck down. All right, let's do. Fuck, marry, kill this podium. George Russell, Max Verstappen, Kimi Antonelli.
Well, I have to kill Kimi because I can't fuck or marry that child.
Yeah, sorry.
So he's have to kill him.
Yeah.
Why is that the least problematic one?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Guess we have to
call
murder
me a
him.
woke asshole, but I'm killing Kimi.
Yeah. Yeah, Kimmy's dead.
Kimmy's dead. And then I am.
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
Yeah, I think marrying George would be fucking intense. I'm fucking George for the story because that'll be amazing.
Wow.
I'm marrying Max.
See, you're presenting the exact toxicity. George Russell, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I am wifing up George Russell and giving him what he fucking deserves. Yeah. And I will treat him like a king. And I will cook his breakfast and make him coffee and suck his dick.
Wait, can I change it? Can I just say my answer, my other answer?
Yes.
I'm just realizing that it might be Leclerc. I might just have to marry Leclerc every time, even if he's not on the podium. Because I saw him, I said this on Patreon. I saw him, I never seen him before.
Yes.
In the flesh.
Yes.
You've seen him in the flesh.
Yeah, I got lunch. I got lunch with his flesh.
I got lunch with his flesh. And my God, that is the most gorgeous man I've ever seen. Yeah. And I realized this is a conversation that we started, but are you bisexual if you're attracted to one man?
Right.
Having that sexual awakening.
Yeah, had you ever felt that before? An actual sexual...
I had a sexual awakening with a man. Yeah. And I was like... And now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Because I was aroused and then frustrated. Because it's like, I want to suck his dick, and I never will.
Right.
And that was hard.
Right. You came upon the shores of wanting to fuck Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
And then immediately the sea receded into the fucking distance.
Yes.
And there's just fish flopping around. And there's just a fucking tsunami of you not sucking Charles Leclerc's dick coming at you.
Yes. So,
yeah.
So, yeah.
I might
If you see a negative comment on Alexandra's Instagram, they're all me.
it's all burner accounts.
It's all burner accounts. Me just being a jealous fuck, being like, "Oh my god, she's so tacky."
Right. You know,
lucky asshole.
I want to give also an honorable mention. You pointed this out to me. I didn't realize how fucking beefed up Isaac Hadjar is.
Oh, you had a sexual awakening with that.
I didn't have
you
a
were
sexual,
beefed up?
I didn't have a sexual awakening, but I was just like, talk about sleeper build.
Oh my god, he has a sleeper build.
He is the ultimate sleeper build. Because we talked to Yuki this week, and we asked Yuki like if he was going to do like a heist type of thing, who would be his crew.
Yeah.
And he said Isaac, and he said because he's really buff.
And because I pay attention to this shit, I was like, yep.
And I was like, Isaac, buff? What do you speak, young Yuki Tsunoda?
Yeah.
And then you showed me this picture of him after their football game, soccer game they did, and I was like, Jesus Christ,
it's Avengers.
That dude is a fucking unit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He is the ultimate sleeper bod.
Yeah, no, he was and he's got a baby face.
Yes,
he looks like a literal infant.
None of those abs are on those cheeks.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think he stores all his fat in his face because.
And as a guy who has a fucking chubby little face, I see it. And I love it.
Yeah.
And shout out, we were also talking about sleeper build. This going towards also Charles Leclerc's hotness. He's sleeper tall.
He's sleeper tall. The thing is, you don't expect a guy that well. This is becoming the gayest podcast we've ever done, but that's okay. That's okay.
We're in fucking Montreal,
and
baby.
And
it's Pride Month, bitch. Let's go.
And we're an hour in, so
yeah.
I mean, you don't expect a guy with proportions that great, to be tall,
right?
Usually, when you're that well proportioned, you're short.
Right, when you're tall, when you get to a certain height, it's kind of like things are going to be a little bit bigger than the other.
Like look at you, like Ocon, he's tall.
Yeah,
that's a tall guy.
Right,
that guy's. You're actually shocked that he's only like 6'1".
Right. George Russell, you can't have a chin like that and be short. You got to be like...
George Russell has to be 6'1".
Right.
Right. Charles Leclerc, 5'11", 6. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yuki Tsunoda, like beautiful, like so symmetrical, great, like strong jaw, but like it all works. Makes sense that he's short.
Because it's like in golf, right? When you're a little off with a big club, everything gets distorted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
When you're a little off with a short club, it only goes. So short people tend to have better proportions than tall people,
and that's why Charles Leclerc. Ultimate unicorn.
There's some short people with.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like you got your Danny DeVitos and your.
Of course.
It doesn't always work, but.
My feelings don't care about your facts.
But that's why actors are so small. Because the people who look best on camera are usually not fucking tall.
Right. But then you got like an Adam Driver, dude's a fucking unit.
But he's tall.
He's tall.
You see that guy's face, you're like, that guy's so 6'2", 6'3".
That guy can't be 5'5". He has to be 6'5".
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do our predictions for Austria in a second, but we just want to give a shout out to everyone that we met and saw in Montreal. We had an amazing time. Shout out to our boy Vince, who took us out on his fishing boat yesterday. We saw the beauty of Montreal. We had an amazing time. Huge shout out to our intern Gwen, who helped put together a lot of the information you're going to be seeing in our amazing episode with one Jacques Villeneuve. That is going
Daddy of the pod,
big time Daddy of the pod.
But also Daddy Muhammad helped with the
Daddy of the pod. Daddy Muhammad also helped with that, and also it's Father's Day. So we got to thank our daddies of the pod, baby.
Yeah.
So we got to thank Kayla, Robin, Jordan Texera, Jay Lingle, Spencer Grieve, Javier Mera, Sheila Valeri, Chandler, Alice Santana, Carla Juarlo, Kimberly Whalen, Alonso Over My Face 69, Donya Dana, Deadbeat Daddy, Muhammad, who gets a special shout out this week for helping us set up our interview with Jacques Villeneuve, Jimmy, Kimmy, sponsored by Mommy of the Pod, Hollister 584, Delusional Science Fan, Kat, Future Dog Toward Neon, Steph Grossi, JB Fresh, Laura, Emily Gillenwater, Cody Hall is my F1 daddy, Branch W, Keep Up the Science Hate, Hunter Scruggs, Salmonella Mozzarella, I'm a Leclerc fan, and yes, it hurts. Jay Kess, George Russell is evil Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3. Matt Edwards is always right. I wish I was Max and Danny's love child. Delaney Andrews, Henry Kasky, Miles Lewis Alexander, The Real Toto Wolf, Maggie B, Kaylee Breyer, Eva the Y, Aaron Fiber, Devin, a.k.a. the future Dr. Sullivan's PA, Courtney Frazier, Yuki Tsunoda's other mother. Jenny is the reason I am a daddy. Megan, Aaron, Pineapple the Y. Matt has a secret boner for Carlos Sainz. Unfortunately, it's Gary. Carolina, my name is AJ, and fuck the HOA. K-Mag can fuck smash my door any day. The official F1 race program and its executive editor, Sarah. I got tickled by the Tifosi. Hey, Jet, good luck out there. Allison Sane, Zhuge, F1 Dude Company, Trent Slickman, Code Brown Sonoda, Jerome Ferreira, Colapinto is a fraud. Aaron, Shahid, Jeans Rockstar, Chohoon. Shake and Bake, Cata Lick My Balls, Stay Fierce, Charlotte Leclerc, Truth Bringer, Mama Burns, and our honorary daddy of the pod for Father's Day this week, every week, one Nicole Piastri, also Jacques Villeneuve, also fucking our boy Vince. Lots of daddy love. Okay, Austria. Austria is the next race on the calendar. What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know much about this track.
I think, is kind of similar-ish to Spain. I think it's got kind of like Spain vibes. Yeah. It's
some big corners there.
Big corners. It's, some medium speeds. It's got that kind of epic first turn.
Yeah. I'm going Oscar, Lando, Max.
Oscar, Lando, Max. I think that George Russell's going to be strong again. I think it's not going to be that hot. I think that the temperature and the climate will benefit this Mercedes. I think it's going to be Lando, George, Oscar.
All right.
Lando Norris bounces back, baby. He's not out of this thing. Don't fucking fret, Lando Hive.
Goodbye, Venkis.
Goodbye, Venkis.